Welcome back to Echo English Hub. Today, you are going to listen to the short and emotional story of Jane Eyre, one of the most famous novels written by Charlotte Brontë.
In a small corner of England, there lived a quiet orphan girl named Jane Eyre. From her childhood, Jane's life was filled with loneliness and hardship. After losing her parents, she was sent to live with her rich aunt, Mrs. Reed, at Gateshead Hall. But instead of love and care, Jane received cruelty and neglect. Her aunt disliked her, and her cousins treated her badly every day. Even as a child, Jane was different. She was intelligent, honest, and strong-minded. She could not tolerate injustice silently.
One day, after being unfairly punished, Jane was locked inside the terrifying Red Room, the room where her uncle had died. The experience filled her with fear and sadness. Soon afterward, Mrs. Reed sent Jane away to Lowood School, a strict boarding school for poor girls. Life there was extremely difficult. The students suffered from hunger, cold weather, and harsh discipline. At Lowood, Jane met a gentle and kind girl named Helen Burns. Helen became Jane's closest friend and taught her patience, kindness, and forgiveness. But tragedy struck when Helen fell seriously ill and died. Jane was heartbroken, yet she continued her studies with determination. As the years passed, Jane became educated, mature, and independent. After working as a teacher for some time, she decided to seek a new life outside the school. Eventually, she accepted a position as a governess at Thornfield Hall, a large and mysterious mansion. There, she was responsible for teaching a young French girl named Adele. Thornfield Hall was strange and full of secrets. At night, Jane sometimes heard eerie laughter and unusual sounds coming from the upper floors.
One evening, Jane met the owner of the mansion, Mr. Edward Rochester. He was intelligent, proud, and mysterious, carrying deep sadness within him. Although their personalities were very different, Jane and Rochester slowly grew close to each other. They spent many evenings talking honestly about life, pain, and dreams. Unlike other people, Jane treated Rochester as an equal. Her honesty and courage deeply impressed him. One night, Jane saved Rochester from a dangerous fire in his bedroom. After that incident, their relationship became even stronger. Soon, Rochester confessed his love and asked Jane to marry him. Jane felt truly happy for the first time in her life. However, on their wedding day, a terrible secret was revealed. Rochester was already married to a mentally ill woman named Bertha Mason, who had been secretly kept in the attic of Thornfield Hall for years. Jane was devastated by the truth. Although she loved Rochester deeply, she refused to compromise her dignity and moral values. With a broken heart, Jane left Thornfield alone. She wandered through the countryside without money, food, or shelter, suffering greatly. After many hardships, Jane found refuge with kind people who helped her recover. Later, she unexpectedly inherited a large fortune from her uncle, giving her financial independence. Still, Jane could never forget Rochester. One day, feeling a strong connection to him, she returned to Thornfield Hall. But she found the mansion destroyed by a terrible fire. Bertha Mason had set the house on fire before dying in the flames. While trying to save everyone, Rochester had lost his eyesight
and suffered severe injuries. Jane finally found him, living alone in sorrow and darkness. This time, nothing stood between them. Jane stayed beside Rochester with love, loyalty, and compassion. Eventually, they married and began a peaceful life together. Jane Eyre is a timeless story of love, self-respect, courage, and the journey of a woman who fought for her dignity through every hardship. The end.